A baseball bat, a grinning cat, and a world powered by sugar, meat, and plastic. Off doesn't need jump scares. It just rearranges your sense of normal until your brain politely taps out. 17 years later, this remaster drags the cult classic into 2025 without sanding off the weird. The question is whether the facelift elevates the experience or just frames the same unsettling painting in a shinier gallery. Here's the shape of it. You guide the batter, a blank-faced purifier, through 5 zones that look like someone photocopied an industrial nightmare and highlighted it with crayons. The judge, your verbose tutti feline guide, talks like a philosophy TA who swallowed a hairball of existential dread. The game still breaks the fourth wall with a straight face, from that opening wink to puzzles that nudge you to pay attention to the UI itself. It's short, about 7 hours to clear with the optional bosses, and still dense with that. Something is wrong with the way people are speaking to me energy. Let's talk combat, because that's where the remaster draws the most split takes. One camp says the core is still primitive, ATB bars, simple affinities, a couple support-leaning add-ons, and not much tactical stretch once you've learned which targets to delete first. Another camp argues the tweaks matter. Clear critical hit telegraphing turns wind-ups into micro-decisions. You can hold that charge swing just long enough to sink a heal or finish a boss phase. And the UI's off-kilter. Zine-like command bubbles give battles a scrappy kinetic vibe. Our read. The rework is a genuine quality of life win, especially for pacing, but it doesn't transform off into a deep tactical RPG. Random fights go down quicker, optional bosses spike the pulse. And then you're back to vibes over verbs. If you wanted Shin Megami Excel sheets, this isn't that. What did age like fine nightmare milk is the atmosphere. The art style still slaps because it makes you do the work. Stark line art, deliberately clashing assets, and monochrome figures against sickly color blocks that leave your brain feeling in dread between pixels. The zones sell labor and consumption as rituals of control without saying the quiet part out loud. NPCs accept their grind with a language that sounds normal until you replay the sentence in your head, then it curdles. The remaster keeps the original's 3 pixel perfect presentation for exploration with unlockable border art, then blows battles up to widescreen so the grotesques can get right in your face. That split is a smart call, even if the menu fonts and accessibility tweaks feel half implemented. About the soundtrack, the original's low-tech industrial clatter is iconic, and the new score walks a tricky line. You can hear the homage, including tasteful contributions from Toby Fox, a neat full-circle moment given how off-fed into Undertale's DNA, but purists will miss the exact grime of the 2011 fan translation era. The new tracks sell unease more than bops, they're textural, not playlist bait. Call it a respectful remix rather than a replacement, which is probably the healthiest way to hear it. Structure and puzzles remain blunt instruments used elegantly. Door codes hide in nonsense prose, background details are clues, and the spaces themselves occasionally behave like they resent Euclid. It's less gotcha puzzle box and more. Are you looking where the game wants your eyes? Design has restraint. No endless random battle slog, no bloated party chatter. The add-ons, those haloed orbs, are purposefully anonymous to keep the beta center stage, which becomes thematically pertinent. Quick spoiler-safe detour in 3, 2, 1. Off isn't deep because it's convoluted, it's deep because it's blunt. The late game reframes your actions without begging you to like it. That's why it sticks. This remaster doesn't sand that down, and the optional new bosses add a few playful mechanics and a couple genuine tests without derailing the tone. Don't expect new endings, expect more texture. Where the critics split, we lean into the tension. Presentation upgrades and combat polish. Absolutely helpful. Core combat depth, still basic, just faster and punchier. The remaster philosophy, faithful to a fault. Hardcore nostalgists will cheer the minimal meddling. Some remake-era players will wish for bolder reinvention. We get it. Off is a museum piece that still wants to make you complicit. And the curators mostly dusted, reframed, and added a few exhibits rather than rebuilding the wing. 2 small caveats before you sprint to Zone 0. The accessibility pass doesn't touch all the menus, which is a miss, and difficulty leans easy unless you chase the secret fights or self-limit your competences. That said, the critical charge visibility plus snappier ATB timing makes normal encounters less of a chore and more of a cadence. Short hits of friction between the story beats you actually came for. So where does veteran game land? Off Remake is absolutely worth your time in 2025, whether you're an Undertale enjoyer connecting the family tree, or an indie RPG sicko who wants to see the blueprint that launched 1,000 Tumblr meta posts. It's not a reinvention, it's preservation with smart tweaks and a polarizing, respectful score swap. If you play for combat systems, you'll appreciate the cleanup and bounce. If you play for vibes, morality fission, and cats with too many teeth, you'll eat. If this kind of no BS deep dive is your thing, hitch a ride with Veteran Game and hit subscribe. We'll keep autopsying the weird, the bold, and the brilliantly flawed so your backlog choices stay sharp. Final pitch to the comments section. Which version sings louder, the original OST or the new score? And did the combat tune-up actually fix the pacing problem, or just hide it better? Plant your flag.